This is the presentation of Milestone 4 of the airport grant from Filecoin. Airport is a framework for running the database and applications right in user's browser and sharing data via decentralized file system like Filecoin. A key selling point of Airport is that it's very developer friendly. Airport runs by splitting data into repositories, where repository is a unit of data. A unit of data relates a piece of work that was done in this milestone is ability to dynamically load repositories. So repositories can now reference each other, and when a given repository is loaded into a user device, every single repository it references will be loaded subsequently in the background. Also, at query time, if a query references repositories that are not present locally, they will also be loaded. This enables uh, dynamically loading up data as user navigates across different user interfaces. Another big piece of work that was done that was not originally scoped is ability to display data dynamically in user interfaces as it comes in, and that is observables. This is basically a standard now in user interfaces and is a key requirement for success of the framework. Another piece of work that was performed is taking all of the user interfaces that previously ran in different tabs and putting them in a single tab, the same tab in which the framework runs. This allows easy navigation between user interfaces. There was a number of internal features that were added in this milestone. One is keeping track of all of the secret information for users. So all of the keys with which users sign and encrypt repositories are now stored centrally in a meta repository. Repository members are also now tracked. So users are now tied with their membership to a given repository, and user permissions in a repository are also tracked. All the data in repositories is now signed by users, which allows to keep track of who added what into what repository and was it a valid user that performed the change. And original scope of Milestone 4 called for creation of per repository blockchains. That turned out to be not needed because data signing and timestamping of the changes is sufficient enough to resolve data conflicts. So here is a demo of the work that has been performed. So here I'm opening up the framework on top on port 4200 with a user interface running on port 3003. I am going to log in or sign up in this case, and we are presented with the goals application and its own user interface. I am now able to add a goal, and that will add a repository for the tasks application here, which I can view right from the framework and navigate back to that user interface. I am also able to add additional related repositories. So in this case, I'm going to add a conversation just for the user herself in this case. And we will see that there is a new repository being added for the conversation. So navigate back to the goal. And now I am going to take that URL, and as user might share it, I will open it up in another browser for another user to interact with. So given that this is a public repository, user does not have to go through the process of being added and will just automatically join once they make a change. So I will change this goal to be our goal and make it a current goal and save it. And because there is now ability to dynamically show changes, as soon as the data is loaded from a shared file system, uh, it's presented to the user, to the original user, so other users see it. So for instance, you can also do the same thing for a third user. And I will make another change here. And that change, if you notice, will be visible to both other users at slightly different times because they have different synchronization clocks. So there are now 3 users added to this repository. They're being tracked, their data is being signed, and we can see that by adding a related repository. You'll see that all 3 users are present, and we'll now create a conversation for all 3 of them, and the users will be able to now converse with each other. So as you can see, also I just navigated from the goals application or tasks application to the conversations application. And now users can exchange messages with each other. And the data is propagated between all of the users. Again, there is no shared file system at this point. This is just a development server, but eventually this will be done via a decentralized file system. Additional work that was performed here, just some internal stuff, is keeping track of user accounts globally. So there's basically a hash that will be added to a non-unique username so that users can be identified globally. The messaging framework has been reworked between applications and user interfaces, and there's now a build system that builds the source so that it's easy for new developers to ramp up with developing the framework. So that is what has been performed in Milestone 4. Going forward, a key piece that I recently got unblocked on and figured out how to do is full autonomous repositories where data is initially copied from other repositories into the repository where it's needed, which allows for immediate painting of the view and also simplifies synchronization. And of course, the key piece will be integrating with decentralized storage. Uh, Currently, as I have found out when interacting with guys at ChainSafe, uh, the solution for directory structure, which is needed for airports, is level 2, which has problems with update conflicts and ability of multiple users to write to the same location. That is a limiting factor and is currently blocking me from proceeding with ChainSafe or file swan chain solutions, and I'll have to look for an alternative. One way to do this easily would be if a storage network had tagging, because that would make it easy to just tag files as belonging to a particular repository or having a particular timestamp, and then having a query engine that would just go over and allow to retrieve the data that's needed easily and efficiently. Um, the next thing that would have to be done is sign up of users. That can be done with emails or other solutions that exist out there for decentralized IDs. And once that's complete, um, first applications will be finished on top of airports, which are basically related social networks or that will allow users to share data. either directly with each other or in communities. That concludes my presentation. I am very grateful to Filecoin for supporting me. That gave me the motivation to get this far, and also the material support is also much appreciated. Thank you guys so much.